All right. Fresh baked, what is happening? Hey, hang on.
Call from Page Richard.
My phone.
Call from Page Richard.
Oh my God.
Thank you for calling Legislation. Please leave the name and number. I'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you. Hey, David. This is Chris. Reaching out for a question regarding a message that I sent last week or over the weekend regarding a company over on North Star.
All right. Well, sorry, guys. That was weird. How am I supposed to watch this in the new video? Well, you can you can watch that one after this live stream is done. Yeah, hello. My phone is ringing. Sometimes I forget that I've got a whole nother thing going on over there. Woo! What a day for me today. All right, so just going to put it out there. Our topic today is just going to be about current status from most of the major projects going around at Disneyland and at Walt Disney World, and then maybe we can touch on Universal as well. Hang on, catching up with some comments. I know, right? So I didn't want to. Normally, I wouldn't try to do a live stream at the same time I'm publishing another video, but that other video was supposed to be published hours ago, but there was an issue with the audio that I had to clean up, and it took me, I don't know, another 6 hours to fix it. So here we are, a live stream and a video at the same time. But like I said, you can just go back and watch the video later if you want to see stay live for this live stream, or you could watch the live stream on playback. Either way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just sort of go down the list, do a roll call, as it were, on the major construction projects that we're interested in, and maybe some minor ones, and just kind of give you guys a status on what I've been able to learn about what's happening. And then along the way, you guys can maybe, because some projects I'm not as caught up on, especially the Walt Disney World stuff, because I depend on others for that. So that's basically what I want to do is talk about construction progress, because people want to know. And finally got my so we're going to start off with Disneyland, and we're going to start off with Snow White, because I heard something from someone that Snow White might actually be done, which is good news. I know a guy who knows a guy, basically, and Snow White, from what I understand, is they've been working on it. I don't know if it's been I don't think it's been the entire time that we were shut down, but for a little while now, for a month or so, I would guess. Because we weren't that far from completion, if I recall. It was supposed to be done in the spring, I think. So we lost just a couple months on that, and we were a couple months away. So I think it was pretty close. But I think Snow White will be ready when we open it, or that it's ready now. However, Haunted Mansion, I don't think is done, because recently, as of a couple days ago, the scaffolding was still out front or still around the mansion, which is not a good sign when it comes to whether or not the thing is done, right? Now, which is interesting. By the way, I would expect that's people have asked often if we're going to get a Halloween Haunted Mansion, Nightmare overlay, or if we're going to get regular Haunted Mansion. By no means do I expect Nightmare or Halloween. Even if we open during the Halloween season, I would definitely expect this to be a classic Haunted Mansion once it reopens, and we won't see Nightmare Overlay until next Halloween. Speaking of scaffolding, I don't know. It's in the video actually today that we just posted. There's scaffolding out in front of Main Street on Emporium. Did not know that they were working on the Emporium, but I imagine it's just paint. I don't know. I don't think it's anything major about no construction or anything like that. I think it's just paint. But they are working on the facade for of the Emporium on Main Street, which is a good sign, kind of, if you think about it, if you ask me, because it does mean that they're definitely preparing to be open. I think Disneyland wants to be open. They're just waiting for either a plan or permission or something. I think that they are practicing or acting as if they are going to reopen soon. Professor Pepper says the public deserves an update on the Space Mountain stairs. It's the least Disney could do as a company. I have that on my list, Professor Pepper. The Space Mountain stairs I have as question mark. I don't know. But I'll say this. The Space Mountain stairs is the exact kind of project that I would expect them to do nothing with, because they were doing nothing with it when the park was open. So I feel like that's probably, I don't think they've done a lick of work. That's just my personal guess. I don't think they've done a lick of work on the Space Mountain stairs. Crystal, you didn't miss anything so far. We're just talking about construction stuff that's status of construction projects. My guess is Snow White is nearly done or is done. Haunted Mansion is not done. The hub, we saw images from the flyovers that they were working on the hub. I think that's still ongoing, but I don't think. I mean, by no means do I think that to be the case. It'll be done before they open the gates again. The hub. Let's see. Oh, okay. I was just following up on a comment there. Okay, so Avengers Campus. I mean, they're working hard on Avengers Campus, I think. That's one of those projects that is high profile, it's a land, okay? So definitely they are putting, if they're putting, I thought I turned that off already. Okay, so if they're putting all of their eggs into any basket when it comes to Disneyland, they're putting all of them into the Avengers Campus basket. That is, I'm positive of that. They could be putting other things off, but that is not one. They are going to, they're full court press, in my opinion, on Avengers Campus, and they want that thing ready when the park opens again, I think. So there's going to be no delays any more than we've had already, and they've been working on it while we're in shutdown for at least another month or so. They will hold my calls. I know, man. Guys, this is how it is for me. I between 9 and 5, I'm doing 2 jobs at once. Shannon says, David, I heard cast members were doing surveys with people at downtown Disney and asking about likelihood to visit park if it reopened. No, I have not. I did not get surveyed. I've only been a few times, but I did not get a survey, or I didn't see any surveying happening. That's the first I've heard of this. It might be Chappick. You guys are funny. All right. So Avengers Campus, again, like I said, they're going to be full speed ahead on that because they're way behind. They're way behind. It was supposed to be open already, and if you were to fly over campus right now, you'd still see a ton of dirt. So they've got a lot to work. They got a lot to do on Avengers Campus, and I'm slightly concerned that it may not be ready when if let's say rumors September, if that's a thing, I don't know. But if they were to say we're going to be open in September, I don't think they can. I don't think they would be in time. Avengers Campus won't be in time because I think they lost, a good 3 months of construction. So no, it doesn't look good for that. Let's see. Runaway Railway is on. They haven't canceled it, but you might have heard that that's one of the attractions or one of the projects that they're going to be putting off. They're going to start. They're going to work on it, and then they're going to stop working on it, and then they're going to work on it, and they're going to stop working on it. They're going to go on and off in order to. My guess is, I'm not sure how that works. Why you would need to pause it? How that helps because my phone, because you use different unions and different work crews in order to, at different stages of the construction. So it's not like you could take whatever crew that was going to be working on Runaway Railway and put them on another project because that other project is going to be in a completely different stage of development. These aren't being, built by, one contractor. So I don't know how that serves them unless they're planning on going from coast to coast, unless the crews are going to be going from, and this happens, but it's possible that the crews are going to be going from Mickey's Runaway Railway here in California and then to work on a site in Florida at a project in Florida that's at a similar stage in its construction. And they did something like this during Galaxy's Edge construction at near the end, though, not at the beginning, more near the end. Okay. Jeff Kelly says Avengers Campus was too far along for them not to finish. Well, definitely. But not only that, not only was it too far along, because there are other projects that aren't nearly as far along, but they're still going forward for other reasons. And Avengers Campus, they're just too heavily vested. They're too heavily vested in terms of hype, in terms of expectation. They have to finish that. I mean, yes, they are too far along, but also because they can't not finish it. They just can't. And we're going to get to some more like that at Walt Disney World. So Avengers Campus, yes. Okay, so Runaway Railway, we're looking at a very long timeline. Normally it would be two and a half years to build or to construct a ride like this. I'm guessing you could probably add another year onto the back of that. Is Spider-Man done? I think so, actually. I think Spider-Man is either done or near done. That's always been the furthest along in terms of all the things that they've been doing, and for good reason, because it's really the only new ride, the new thing that's happening. Everything else happening in Avengers Campus is just restaurants and gift shops. Well, then there's the Doctor Strange show, which seems to be the last thing that they're doing. So there's probably not a lot is needed for that project. Okay, let's see. Jason Eatman says, hey, David, they probably use a construction management team, then subcontract to local. Most definitely, Jason. I think that sounds about right. So I think that there may be merit to the idea that they are taking, like you said, management teams from one coast to the other. And then when that project comes up, then they just put out the casting call, as it were, for local construction crews to come in and do the actual labor per se. But it's usually like you said, like the management teams. What else at Disneyland? Splash Mountain. That's an interesting, I could do another whole video on Splash Mountain, because that's a weird one. That's a really weird one in terms of if they'll even do it, if they'll even finish it or even start it. Sometimes management gets caught up in a movement, whether that be the social justice or I'm not saying that that's necessarily what happened here, but sometimes they want to take advantage They want to take advantage of something that's happening right now, and that was the Splash Mountain situation. Just keep the logs floating. Yeah, could you guys see that? That a log sank at Splash Mountain in Walt Disney World. I think that there was a certain amount of enthusiasm happening for Splash Mountain right as the Black Lives Matter movement was occurring, and people were starting to try to correct paths and right wrongs and that kind of thing, and justifiably so. By the way, I'm not saying that they made a bad decision in doing this, but they did get. I think they wanted to strike that conversation while it was worth having. Just checking on comments. But I think that they were a little too quick. They didn't quite cover all their bases with the Splash Mountain concept. I don't think that all they have is art and ideas. They're not, from what I understand, they're not planning to even close Splash Mountain to begin the makeover for another 2 years at least. That's how far behind. They haven't even. All they have are ideas. They don't have anything with respect to plans and specs, permits, or anything like that. They're not anywhere close to that. They just have ideas. So they're 2 years away from even beginning to start working on the project, and who knows what can happen in those 2 years. Then, when you consider that we have a Splash Mountain, I think it's in China. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like I don't get this right often. I often confuse the parks overseas. But there's a Splash Mountain at, I want to say, Hong Kong, and they said no, we don't want to do that. We're not doing that. I don't want to. We like Splash Mountain Tokyo. Okay. We like Splash Mountain just the way it is. And we're not, no, we're not going to do it. That's right. It's the OLC, not the Hong Kong. Yeah, it's OLC. And they just said, no, that's your problem. And we're not going to do that. And now Disney's stuck with this situation where they're going to have, if they were to go through with this, a new thing that's supposed to. The idea of the Splash Mountain remodel is to undo Splash Mountain and the story behind it, to rid themselves of that baggage. But they can't rid themselves of that baggage completely unless they can do it in all the parks. So if Tokyo is refusing to do this change, then where's Disney? Where are they politically? Can they continue this position that they're in? It's a good question. It's an interesting question. So one of the rumors, one of the possibilities, is that it may happen only at Disneyland and not at Walt Disney World, and that's possibly for other reasons, because it's not as easy, for example, to change Splash Mountain in Florida, because it's not in New Orleans Square or anywhere near New Orleans Square. It's in Frontierland. Interesting scenario. So there's a possibility that Splash Mountain may be Disneyland only, and we're talking years from now, 4 or 5 years from now when it's done. And 2, maybe that it's not done at all. I could see a scenario where we all just forget about it, just like they've forgotten about other projects that they were working on. And they try to survive whatever political issues might come up. I don't want to say political, social issues. Yes, Mark, I did mention earlier that I do think Snow White is done. Haunted Mansion is not done, as far as I know, but it will be done, I think. They will have Haunted Mansion finished before they open the parks. We've still got a month at least. We got an update earlier. I saw that they're no longer, or they're not taking reservations at the resort until September 1st. That's the first date you can reserve. that got moved up from mid-August just today, I think. So that tells us that we're at least that far away from an opening date, which gives us a solid month still of progress. Okay, so let me see if there's anything that I want to address in the comments. NorCal Thrills, Tokyo Disneyland is playing pretty smart. They can attract more American tourists by keeping the old Splash Mountain. I really don't think that Splash Mountain moves the needle that much for tourism into Tokyo. I'm not going to fly to Tokyo just to ride Splash Mountain. So I don't know if they're motivated to do it for those reasons. I just think that why should they? Because that requires a certain monetary investment of theirs as well. Disney's going to put in the money to do this, and then Tokyo's going to have to put in some money to do that change. And they're going to have to lose a ride for 2 years, and they just don't want to do it. I just think that's all it is that they're like, we like the ride the way it is, and why should we change it? And I don't blame them, to be honest. If I were Tokyo, I would do the same thing. So I don't think there's any sort of chess being played in that regard. DCA was testing World of Color last night. Daniel, that's good news. And Liz and I drove by the park late, I want to say Saturday night. Was it Saturday night? Yeah. And the lights were on. Tower of Terror was lit. The Fun Wheel was lit. And I'm sure other things were lit as well, even between you and me, I heard that they were running trains at night to test to get the cycle the Disneyland Railroad. That's a thing. That's a good sign. Running the Disneyland Railroad at night to start cycling the thing and test it out and make sure it's guest ready. That's interesting. Now, I've only heard this. I don't know this for sure. I haven't seen anything myself. This is just something that I've heard. Renee, yeah, you know what? Renee says, going to check the Mattercam. Are there any views of the train anywhere with the Mattercam, from the Mattercam? I'd like to know if that's possible. I can't think of it. I don't know. Okay. Lord Puskin says no, sadly, but I'm sure you can hear. All right. Well, I don't know how much noise the train makes. It's probably, you're not going to hear the announcements, but you might hear the whistle, but they probably wouldn't do the whistle either. No train view from the Mattercam. That's too bad. All right. What else we got here at Disneyland? Stairs, Splash Mountain, Runaway, Way, and then the Emporium. I talked about that. So let's talk about Walt Disney World for a second. There's a lot of things going on at Walt Disney World. We have EPCOT. Dude, EPCOT is... I'm worried for EPCOT, man. I'm really worried for EPCOT because they were blowing up EPCOT before this thing happened, and now what are they going to do? I don't know. So let's go down the list. Mary Poppins. They never started construction on the Mary Poppins ride that was supposed to be installed into, I guess, the England land. They had only just announced it, I think, at the last E23, right? So they didn't get very far, if anywhere at all, on that. Probably just plans and specs. So the word I'm hearing is paused, but I think the more likely thing that you're going to find, the pavilion, that was the word I was looking for. I think the more likely word that you should apply to Mary Poppins is canceled. I see no reason. Disney cannot spend any money that they don't have to spend. And they're not in any way committed to Mary Poppins at this point. In the UK pavilion, they haven't done any demo at UK or anything like that. So it could fine as is. So Mary Poppins is as good as dead, in my opinion. The spaceship Earth was supposed to get a major refurb. That is probably canceled as well. It was paused, but I think canceled is probably a better word. But having said that, it's old, and it does need some TLC, and it has for a long time. And they may not be able to. I don't know that they can keep giving it the Star Tourist treatment, which means, just Band-Aids, just trying to hold it together with duct tape and good intentions. Star Tours has been that way for a couple of years. Mr. Toads is that way. Peter Pan. The very old parts that don't even exist anymore, are needed for those rides. So Spaceship Earth is going to need some. So that's more of a pause than a cancel, I think. Tron is back on, and I don't see why not. Tron is a major, kind of like Avengers Campus. Both Tron at Magic Kingdom and the Guardians coaster at EPCOT are tentpole attractions that need to finish, no matter where they are in construction, because the hype is real on those, and they have to finish those. Whether or not they do anything else in EPCOT and Magic Kingdom, they have to finish those, I think. So if they're not actively on, I think they are, but if they aren't now, they will be soon for Tron and Guardians. I think, matter of fact, I saw Theme Park. What's the name of that website that does construction updates? I want to say Theme Park Express. They had photos of them working on the exterior of the Guardians Cosmic Rewind. So for sure, that's going. I think somebody mentioned Ratatouille. They're almost done with Ratatouille, right? I don't think that's going to be. They're going to finish Ratatouille for sure. Tron is not. Yeah, I mentioned that. Tron is going to Magic Kingdom, not EPCOT. Let's see. Kimberly Moore, do you think Disneyland will renovate Tomorrowland? Sorry. No, I don't. The Tomorrowland refurb has been kicked down the street so many times because of other projects have had more priority. We're 15 years away from Tomorrowland now, I think. Before COVID, I would have said we're 10 years from Tomorrowland being a new Tomorrowland arriving in the park, meaning it would take. They might start working on it in maybe 5 or 6 years, and then the project might take 3 or 4 years to complete. I don't see them doing anything. Well, you know what? Let me put it this way. If it's not already under construction, then it's probably canceled. And anything new, put this here right in the middle, anything new, you won't see anything new for 10 years. No new projects, unless something crazy happens and there's a total windfall of revenue that they can fall back on and use to build stuff. But this the lockdown has just irreparably damaged Disney's financial situation. It's really, really bad. So even when things start getting back to normal, define normal, even if all the parks are open and generating income, it'll still be a few years at least before they can start hitting those kinds of levels where they can put money aside for construction projects. So I'm thinking maybe never. I think that there's a distinct possibility that the Tomorrowland refurb could be a never. It's going to be a long time. It'll be a long time. Third gate, 2060. Yeah, no way. So, okay, let's get back to EPCOT. Ratatouille definitely is on. They're going to finish that. Space 220, which is the you know what? Let me get back to that one in a second. Well, no, I'll go ahead and finish Space 220. They were pretty close to finishing that one, I think. Now, even though they're close to finishing or finished with Space 220, which, by the way, if you don't know, it's the space themed restaurant that they're putting into Epcot. That's probably not going to open for a while, even if it's ready, just because of demand. There's not enough. They would have to staff it. They would have to hire a bunch of people to staff it, or well, maybe not. I don't know, but they would have to train. They'd have to go through a lot of processes to get that thing ready to go, and then have nobody show up. Which is, I mean, Epcot is a ghost town right now. I think I talked to Adam yesterday, and he said when he was in Epcot, the longest wait that he had for any single attraction anywhere in Epcot might have been maybe the whole the whole resort. I don't know, but at least Epcot was 7 minutes for Frozen. He didn't wait. He walked on to every single attraction every day that he was there at Epcot. He walked on to everything. 7 minutes was the longest he waited. Epcot is a ghost town. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's all this sort of, it was under construction when things went to hell. So there was nothing really, there's not a lot, people are just like, I don't want to go to Epcot because it's just in this weird sort of limbo state, and it's going to be that way for a while. So I get that. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't think, even if Space 220 is ready, I don't think they're going to open it. Not until attendance picks up at Epcot specifically. Now, I was thinking about talking about the Star Wars Hotel. Somebody mentioned that at the Star Wars Hotel that it has resumed, and that is true. Construction has resumed at the Star Wars Hotel, and when I first heard this, I'm like, why? Why? Of all the projects that I thought that you could pause or even cancel, I thought the Star Wars Hotel would be top of the list. Just because it's a thing that doesn't have, I mean, there's demand for it, but who's going to go? Who's going to go to the Star Wars Hotel? And wouldn't you really rather put that money into something that you could do in the parks? And really, do we need another hotel? And it just seemed like a bad idea to keep that thing going. But sometimes I think like a common man too much sometimes, and I don't think from a theme park designer's perspective, or from a financier's perspective, or from a person of wealth and privileges perspective. I speak from a common guy who's grown up a common man his whole life, and I'm thinking, what a stupid idea it is to start up the Star Wars Hotel. It's, because of the price points and all that. Rich people. Who is this hotel built for? It was built for rich people, and the rich people are still rich after coronavirus. They haven't. I don't think that any of them have really. It's such a small boutique hotel with such a very specific clientele, a narrow group of people that they're trying to reach, and it's such a small number of them that the people who were going to book the Star Wars Hotel yesterday are also going to book the Star Wars Hotel today. The folks who are going to do it haven't changed their minds at all, I don't think, about whether or not they want to go on a Star Wars cruise, or like somebody said, a regular cruise or a vacation. Some folks have canceled their vacations. Some folks have. Some people of wealth and privilege have canceled their vacations. But there's enough of them who don't, who won't, who want to keep going. There's enough of them that they could fill the Star Wars Hotel. That makes sense. So I think that's why they wasted little time actually in opening or resuming construction on Star Wars Hotel. And that'll just add more years to the time it's ever going to take me to get to go. A Weather Eye says, on at least a cruise, you can go outside and get fresh air. Weather Eye, cruise ships are petri dishes for this virus. I don't know if I'll ever go on a cruise ship again. Mike Kavanaugh says, isn't it going to be $2,000 a person for a 3-night stay? Yes. I think that's the number. That sounds right. That sounds pretty close to right. It actually, when you start doing the math and you start adding in all the little things, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's actually not outrageous, but it is $2,000. Okay. Yeah, Scott Zucki. Yep. Rich clients are annoyed because they can't take their private jet anywhere without having to get government quarantine. It's upsetting to a lot of folks that some of their personal freedoms are being, they used to be able to use their wealth and privilege to get around some of those invasions, but the coronavirus don't care. Coronavirus don't pay no mind. They don't care if you got money or not. Let's see. Right. So Stephen Neffis says, I would be down for $2,000 a night to stay at Mos Eisley. Well, if you're into wretched hives of scum and villainy, but I think you have to do it. The Star Wars Hotel has to be done the way it is. In order to complete the immersion, you have to go off into space, I think. Peter Blob. Okay, no, wait, I can't do that one. Anthony Corona wants to know, is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway still in the works? Yes. It's still in the works, though. I would probably add a year or more to its completion time, which puts it, I would guess, somewhere around 2023. Okay. All right. What else do we got on Walt Disney World? Yeah, most of the new EPCOT stuff, it's not looking good for new EPCOT. It's not let's see. Oh yeah, Journey of Water. I don't think we're going to be seeing that. That's the Moana themed attraction, the walkthrough attraction. I don't think we'll be seeing that. A lot of the new little tweaks that we saw at D23 are either going to be put off on the long term, or they may be canceled altogether. And I wonder if they can put EPCOT back together the way it was. I wonder. I'm not sure how far along they got on scrapping, because there was demo done at EPCOT, and that's one of the things that I was going to check with you guys on to see if you had updates on how far, if it's possible that EPCOT could be reset. But I don't think, because the things that they had demoed, to my recollection, the things that they had demoed were kind of areas that people didn't care about before anyway. Yeah, Regina says, no, there are buildings completely torn down. I'm aware. I don't mean to say it's not a complete reset, but can they just stop and just say, okay, EPCOT is what it is right now, I guess. Not quite a reset, but just, never mind. And then just let it mothball for a while. I don't know. Future World was torn down, yeah. Club Cool is gone. Well, that's a shame. Club Cool. That is a shame. People had a weird attraction to Club Cool. It's one of those, like, I didn't quite understand it. I've only seen it, from third hand, from like Laramie's stuff and whatnot, but it just seemed like an odd place. A lot of EPCOT is odd, though, to modern sensibilities. So I don't know, maybe. But then again, EPCOT has a lot of love. People really feel strongly about EPCOT too. Gordon Farmers Forge says, do you think Disney could lose more money because most of, well, I think you meant EPCOT, looks like an erect site? Yeah. That's why EPCOT's dead right now, I think, is because all the good stuff is still under construction, right? You go to EPCOT today to do what? Drink? What do you do? There's the test track and the dark ride in Mexico that I thought was kind of cool. I can't even think of the cool things to do at Epcot right now besides drink, and we'll go through the pavilions. Oh, Soren, there you go. There's not a lot to do in Epcot right now, and the good stuff is still down the line. I like living with the land. Let's see. Okay, I got through those pretty quickly. I thought that would take longer. Space is nearly finished. Reflections, that was a DVC resort that they were going to build, but I don't think they even put a shovel on the ground. That's been canceled. I don't think anybody cares about that. Yeah, Evan agrees with me. So let's open this up then. If you have questions, I want to try to keep it on construction though. Questions on any of the, you know what, before I do that, let's talk about Epic Universe. I heard that they were doing site grading from somebody, but they hadn't really begun Epic Universe, and that's the new park that they're building in Florida. And I just want to, okay, so it's paused. Universal has come out and said that's been paused. The construction on Epic Universe has been paused. I don't see how they could start that up again. Let's have that conversation. How do you start up Epic Universe? When you haven't, kind of like what I was saying before, if you haven't already started construction, how do you start? Because how much does it cost? If Galaxy's Edge, a single land, cost a couple billion, how much does an entire park cost today? 5 billion, 10 billion? How much would it cost to build Epic Universe? And I don't know if they already had their financing lined up for that or not. I don't know if that's a thing that they can count on. But Universal is laying off folks left and right. So obviously they're we saw their numbers. Universal was what, 94%? 94% of revenue they lost since the lockdown. 22 big. Did you just make that up? We got people just throwing numbers at me. Evan Layton says, I don't think they can start up Epic Universe for at least 5 years, maybe longer. But yeah, it's kind of the same conversation with Tomorrowland. When does a company feel financially secure enough to start expanding? Like, especially a company like theme parks, companies in the entertainment business. I mean, I could see places like, or digital stuff expanding right now because the shutdown and all of this has increased our reliance on digital, whatever, right? So there's a market that can grow. Digital, name it, whatever is digital, that's growing. But entertainment, themed entertainment, movies and theme parks are possibly dinosaurs, unless we can right this ship quickly. So, yeah, when does Universal feel safe enough to begin construction on Epic Universe? When? When could, like I said, $5 billion? $10 billion? How much? They don't got that. They don't have anything. They need all. How would they be able to line up the financing for that? There's just no way. And I would say that's why I feel like, and this is a conversation we had, I think, last Friday with respect to, Imagineering, WDI. If there is a possibility of a moratorium on any kind of new development, any kind of expansion, refurbs, etc., then you can eliminate a lot of those creatives. And I think that's what's going to happen at Universal, because they've been laying off, like I said, people like left and right. And then, by the way, that asks the question, and maybe you guys can correct me because I haven't I haven't. It's been a while since I've looked into Epic Universe because I just forgot about it because I figured it was dead. Are they even certain of all the lands? Were those ever made official and final? The theme for each of the lands. I know we had Mario, obviously, or Nintendo, and I think there was supposed to be a classic monsters land. How to Train Your Dragon, I remember. Harry Potter. No, it wasn't Harry Potter. It was Fantastic Beasts, which, by the way, this is a great opportunity for them to second guess. Let's talk about that for a second. Second guess the using Fantastic Beasts as a theme of a land, because that's a franchise that is dying quickly, if you ask me. The last film was bad by all accounts, and people are just quickly canceling JK. So that's what I'm kind of wondering. Can they undo? This actually might be it might have been a good thing, right? That this happened for Universal. Let's see. Yeah, Antonio Lopez says, I feel for Universal. That's at least an $8 billion park if they want it to be of quality, which, by the way, that was the plan, but who knows? The budget would tell you everything. Gordon Farmer says, they are saying for a Disney and Universal style park here in the UK, $32 billion. Gordon, are you talking about that theme park thing that I've heard? I thought I saw something on Inside the Magic or something like that about a theme park that they're talking about building in England. Is that still a thing? Are they still doing that? Okay, let's see. Nathan M6911 says, this is back in previous conversation, cruise ships were petri dishes even before COVID. So true. I used to get sick every time I flew. Every time I flew, I got a cold or some kind of sickness by the time, after a couple of days after I landed. I've only been on one cruise. I don't remember if I got sick after that, but yeah, because everybody is those close quarters. It's all, it's closed in. The air doesn't move around. Not a lot of hygiene happening. So I wouldn't go on a cruise right now if you paid me. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Yeah, Antonio Lopez says there was just the one piece of concept art, and you were trying. I think I remember trying to see if I could infer from the concept art what kind of themed lands there were going to be. Let's see. Yeah, okay. WrestleFan says Fantastic Beasts 3 has been paused. Filming has resumed. I'm surprised. Did JK write Fantastic 3? I hope not. Scott Zucchi says investment won't stop for Disney parks. They were making $20 billion a year. 24 is the operative word there, Scott. This thing has changed everything about what we value and what's important. And it's going to be a long time before we are as crazy for theme parks as we used to be. That's my opinion. So it may still be profitable, but it's not going to be $20 billion a year profitable for a very long time, if ever. Yeah, when does the new earnings report come out for Disney? Universal and OLC just put theirs out recently. We haven't heard from Disney. Eduardo Chicas, Epic Universe is in the works. The Mummy ride is going away when Nintendo Land opens next year to make room for the classic Universal monster attraction. I don't believe that for a second, Eduardo. I don't. I don't think anything's happening. Gordon Farmer says, yes, it's still going on in Essex, the English theme park. Are there, I don't know. I've only just started doing research on this. Have they settled? Have they settled on, what kind of park it's going to be? Like, is it going to be themed or is it just going to be amusement? Is there any concept art? I tried to look on that website. There's no concept art. I can't even find that. Okay, sorry guys, we're in comment time. We're not, see, oh, we got a Q3 call for tomorrow. Okay, for Disney. If you're looking for Ian, just go on Twitter, man. He's still on Twitter. But he's not going to the parks anytime soon. Even if they reopen, I don't think we're going to be seeing Ian for a bit because I think he's a little shook on theme parks right now. Let's see. So is that it? Did I get to everything down there? So okay, J.K. Rowling destroyed her HP success with Pottermore and all extra info on there. I don't think Pottermore did it. I think J.K. did it herself, in addition to the Fantastic Beasts not being very good. They try to catch lightning in a bottle again, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to repeat it. It's hard to make it twice. Harry Potter was an inspiration. It's why it's been hard to make good Star Wars movies too. Regina, all your muffins dumping on cruise ships. Regina, poor. Are you feeling triggered, Regina? Okay, so yeah, okay. So I don't know if anybody answered this. I tried to find some in the comments. How many lands at Epic Universe, and did they confirm a theme for each land, or do we know for sure what the themes are for each land? Because like I said, I feel like the Fantastic Beasts land is sketchy at best. The How to Train Your Dragon land actually could be pretty cool, because that's a franchise that is held together pretty well. I don't think anybody gives a rip about the classic monsters theme. I mean, obviously, Nintendo Land would be amazing. Nothing was. Antonio Love says nothing was confirmed. So, yeah, they right. Look, they don't even have a confirmed lands. How are they going to start this? There's no way. This thing is dead. Epic Universe is dead. I'm calling it. Yeah, Nintendo was the only really confirmed land because you could just see it. It was visible in the concept art what their intentions were. Was it just the 4 lands then? I thought there was 5. I feel like I'm missing something, unless they're talking about that center, and then there was the hotel at the top. Yeah, I think Epic Universe is dead. There's just no way, man. In this environment, you can't build a $10 billion theme park in this environment. It's going to take so long for that to happen. It's going to take so long. Samuel, delayed could mean canceled. Delayed, yeah, is just another word for canceled right now, in my opinion. Yeah, there's no money coming in. 94%. They lost 94% of their revenue. And what do we know today that makes us think it's going to be any different anytime soon? I mean, eventually, long run, yeah, it could be better. The concept art, Adventure and Design says the concept art always felt rushed and vague. By design, though, I think. They were leaving it open, especially the Monsters land that was in that top left. If you're looking at the top left corner, I think. That was very vague looking. But it's a land that I would have liked to have gone to because I'm a vintage guy. I like vintage things. And I would have wanted to drive or be in that vintage environment. But as far as, appeal for, attractions and stuff like that, I'm not sure that really was a thing or been a thing. Okay, so one of the generic lands was not related to any kind of franchise. That's probably the stuff that they were doing in the middle. They were supposed to do like a water show in the middle there, I think, if I recall. Okay. Scott Zucky says movie investments will pivot to parks and resorts in about a year, and I don't think so. I don't think so. Guys, I mean, the future's not bright for theme parks, man. I'm just saying, it's not bright. Adventures in Design, they have been desperate to do something with Universal Monsters. They want to restart that IP in the hardest way. Yeah, except that they fail. The Mummy movie was terrible, and they canceled the Wolfman movie, right? The Benicio. I'm sorry, not Benicio. Yeah, is that who I'm talking about? Yeah, he was going to be the Wolfman, right? Benicio. Okay. Alan Beckman says the future is brighter for theme parks than movies. There's a future for movies. Digital. It's just not, the blockbuster might be dead for a while, but you can make animation all day. You can do, dude, animation is going to blow up. You watch. Every third movie coming out soon is going to be a mid-budget animated film. Watch. Animation is going to blow up. Low-budget comedies, low-budget horror films. And then stuff that you aren't too worried about going direct to the digital, to video on demand, or to direct to Blu-ray or something like that. There's a huge market for those right now. What we have to do as consumers is lower our expectations for film. But you can still make movies today. You can just they can pivot and they can change what they're doing. It's hard to pivot theme parks. Theme parks are embedded. They're brick and mortar. They're physical, and they cannot be. They're not adaptable in any way. It's hard coded, so you can't. It's difficult for them to change with the times. So that's why I feel like I think that theme parks may have a harder go of it in the future than film will. Let's see. Yeah, Emily Plosh, the future of movies is streaming, but I think to get viral, it's more common for series. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. Yeah, an animator can work from home for sure. Yeah. I mean, you could have your supervising animator look at stuff digitally. It's not that difficult to work from home. A lot of jobs can be done from home, you guys. I'm doing mine from home. I have been for a long time. Okay. Marty Snyder, off topic. I want to answer this. Normally, I don't like to go off topic during these live streams, but Marty Snyder says, The Rock went out and bought the XFL today, or part of it. What a weird move. What a weird move by The Rock, because I thought the XFL was dead again. Football. I don't see how they're going to play any football anytime soon. I don't understand that move by The Rock. Do you think Hungry Bear will turn into Tiana's Place? Good question. No, I think Hungry Bear is going to stay Hungry Bear. If anything becomes Tiana's Place, I think it'll be the French Market. I pivoted on that idea recently. I had forgotten completely that you could go the other way. You don't have to keep pushing New Orleans Square out that way. You can if you want to build a Tiana's Place, because I don't like the Hungry Bear as a setting for Tiana's Place, but I do like the French Market as a setting for Tiana's Place. Plus, they've already got the beignets being sold right there. Tiana, she kind of likes beignets, so it makes perfect sense for them to do that. If the Splash Mountain thing ever happens, if it does still happen. Yeah, you know what? I got to look into this. Antonio Lopez says, I also remember the Studio Ghibli or is it Ghibli? I don't know how to pronounce that theme park that was planned for Japan, and I believe it started construction, but I need to find out what happened. Yeah, I haven't heard about anything. I got to look into that. Fascinating idea for a theme park, because that is a bizarre sort of artistic style to begin with, and to put that into life. Interesting. JR says it's called the bubble, David. They're doing it in other sports as we speak. Okay, but JR, remember, the bubble is in one place. It's in Florida. It's in Walt Disney World. The NBA bubble is in one place. Nobody leaves. The NFL is being played in the stadiums all over the country, with people traveling all over the place to go there. Players and staff, I mean. It's not a bubble. The bubble for the NFL is imaginary. There is no bubble in the NFL. There isn't. The only thing that has a literal bubble is the NBA and the NHL and MLS. Baseball has no bubble, and baseball is getting coronavirus cases left and right. They're this close to canceling baseball. Well, they were a couple days ago, but things have improved. But no, you cannot say that the NFL is going to be in any kind of bubble. Yeah, Regina says the baseball bubble isn't working. Well, again, Regina, it's not really a bubble. You can't call it one because they're traveling. It's safe in the park, actually. I think that they're safer playing baseball. It's when they go home and start interacting with their friends and family who haven't been in a bubble. That's the problem. The bubble means you interact only with people who are also in the bubble. It's not happening with the NFL and Major League Baseball. They are interacting with other people who are not in the bubble. Oh my God, we're done. Okay, it's 5 o'clock, you guys. I just noticed that we have hit our mark. So interesting conversation today, guys. I enjoyed this. See, Rob Polanski's got it, man. The NBA's done it right. No new cases because they're bubble in, players only in the bubble. Nobody in, nobody out. All right, just imagine like a literal bubble. That's what a real bubble is. But thanks, Rob. Thanks for joining us, guys, for this conversation. I don't have a topic yet for Wednesday, so if you want something to be discussed, put a comment in the comment section after the video when you're done. If there's anything you guys want to cover, and we'll try to pick that up. But otherwise, we'll see you on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Don't forget also to follow us on our main channel, Fresh Baked. There's a link to that on the main channel page, and also our personal vlog, The Royal Dorks, for me and my wife, Liz. We're about ready to go have dinner. And we'll see you next time, guys. Fresh Baked.